Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
All right, so we're going to talk about marketing this week on the Childcare Genius podcast. So last week we talked about mindset a little bit. So we're going to go into marketing, the next pillar of leverage in your childcare business. And I love marketing. I used to own a marketing company. When I first got out of the Navy, I did some marketing, and we had a marketing agency, and I loved it. I sold it in the year 2000. When I ran for the Maine legislature, but it was fun. You know, I didn't have a degree in it, so I kind of had to learn the hard way. I didn't make a super lot of money at it, but it's something I really had a passion for. And I always marketed my own childcare business, and it's just something that's always been fun. So when we started coaching, a couple years ago, it just kind of felt hand in hand to offer marketing services. So now we have a full-fledged marketing agency as well. But let's talk about some marketing tips for you to give you some advice. So the first one I can give you is make sure you have a good website. You won't believe the amount of childcare people I've run across, Carol, that don't even have a website. They've been in business 20 years who don't even have one. And it's sort of akin where if you would be driving down the road and a business wouldn't have a sign on the outside of it, it would just be like an empty building, or not an empty building, but a blank building on the outside with windows, but no sign, nothing at all. That's kind of what you're doing when you don't have a website, because you're telling the world, you just don't see me.
I was actually thinking the other day about how people used to name their businesses so that where they would appear in the phone book.
Yes.
Because that's the way we advertised in the yellow pages. So if you had a business that started with an A, you would be at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that because of the name of a business that I was calling. And it's just different now, but some people still have that mindset that they had 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah. And you'll see the AAA, AAA lock company, AAA1 locking and storage, You never saw, ZZ Top storage company, because nobody wanted to be the end. You're 100% right, because the yellow pages were the big thing. Our daycare, you spent $1,000 a month in the yellow pages for a half-page ad. It was just, you had to do it because that's it. And then the internet came along, and that was the end of yellow pages. So imagine investing in a yellow page marketing book, and you had your life in it, and sort of like vinyl records or compact discs or 8-track tapes. Things that are good today might be gone tomorrow, and marketing changes over time. Huge amount. We used to do direct mail, which was a big thing. Now it's not quite as big. Flyers. We used to hand out flyers. Nobody does a paper flyer anymore. Everything's electronic. Brochures. Just don't do them anymore. But anyway, a website is very important. And an updated one it's SEO optimized, that's really good. Our developer is the top childcare website developer in the world, who works on our team. Her name is Blessing. So we're proud to have the number one. You can get a website at our company for under $7,500. And that's, even though that sounds like a lot of money, if you charge $150 a week for childcare tuition, one kid pays for your website. So if you get one kid enrolled off your website at any point in the future, that website has been paid for, and you're going to get hundreds of children off this website. So it's probably one of the biggest returns. There's companies out there that charge 20 grand for a website. Now, yeah, it's worth it because you're going to get an ROI on it. But we We just don't want to charge that much. We figure we can do that same there. And ours includes hosting and maintenance for a year. So if you need an updated website, just reach out to me at childcaregenius.com. And we'll get you a top-notch website that guarantees results come back to you. But make sure it's SEO optimized. And you can do a website yourself. You could also, give yourself a root canal, but I won't recommend it. You could pull your own teeth, there's a lot of things you could do that I just wouldn't recommend doing it, because if you do it yourself on one of these cheap do-it-yourself website things, not many people are going to see it because it's not optimized. And if the people aren't seeing it, you're not getting the calls. You might get a couple calls, but you'll get 5 to 10 times the traffic if you have it done professionally. And that'll yield in dozens and dozens of extra kids a year. So it'll pay for itself to spending them. This is one area where you can't be cheap.
Yeah, agree.
But yet some people pinch pennies and lose thousands.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. Don't step over dollars and pick up a penny here. This is somewhere you got to really repair. Another thing is Google advertisements. I'm not a big Google fan because I think they have a monopoly on search. But most people Google.
Right.
It's a brand. I'm surprised the Federal Trade Commission or whoever does patents and things. You know how when things used to be Xerox, you Xerox something, and Xerox became the thing for copying. So Xerox, they lose their patent because it becomes a household name. A Band-Aid, same thing. Everything was a Band-Aid, whether it be a bandage or anything. So Band-Aid, they lose their gist because everybody uses it. Well, Google, that's going to eventually they're probably going to lose their patent on their trademark because everybody Googles everything. It becomes synonymous with search. But anyway, I don't know why I got on that chain of thought. Happens when you have ADHD here. But Google Ads, make sure you're using Google Ads. Make sure you're using your paid ads.
We've actually sat in a parking lot of a business and Googled that type of business, and it doesn't show up. Like a childcare sitting in your parking lot, and somebody Googles childcare
near me,
and it doesn't come up.
It doesn't come up. So go to an incognito window. You have to do this from incognito because Google knows who you are, and they will skew their results to you because they know you're a customer up there. Open an incognito window, sit in your parking lot and say childcare near me and see where you rank. And if you're not number one because you're sitting in the parking lot, then you probably need to call us Childcare Genius Marketing for your Google Ads management, and we'll get you ranked up there. Because it's definitely an area where, another one, it's an inexpensive way to reach customers, but probably 95% of your potential customers Google regularly. Right. And they will do a search bar. Google's probably their domain search, and they're going to find you that way. They're going to say childcare near me, preschool, Bangor, Maine, wherever they're going to search, they're going to find you that way. And Google Ads management, if your center is not full enrolled, you need Google advertisements, in my opinion. You can't afford not to do that. Same with social media. You got to make sure that you're advertising on social media. Forget about the TikTok craze. TikTok is great, but it's not super good for money spend yet. But Facebook and Instagram are still a good ad spend for where people are spending their time. You're spending time on Reels, you need to be advertising on them. You need to be spending money on Facebook and Instagram. So very important.
I was actually talking to my daughter, who's 22 years old, about Facebook. I said, people your age don't use Facebook. She said, actually, they do. She said they don't post on Facebook, but they do. But they look at Facebook.
Yeah, they look to find out what other people are doing. Because they feel that that's real life, and it's not. I mean, to me, Facebook is fiction. It's showing the best of everybody's life. Nobody ever says, hey, I gained 20 pounds in the last 6 months. Look at me.
But if they're looking at it, it's a good place to advertise. That's my point.
But they do look at it, and that's the thing. And Instagram especially. A lot of people are Instagramming. So Facebook owns Instagram, so advertising on one is advertising on the other. And it's very important. And a lot of people think just because you post something on Facebook, it means that all your customers are seeing your ad. That is not true. Facebook shows it to very few people if you don't pay for it. And we found out their algorithm is very stingy. And if you post something, it shows it to all your 1,000 fans, it may show it to five. And if you don't get any kind of likes or engagement on those five people, it's not showing it to anybody else. So Facebook is very stingy. There's a reason, Mark Zuckerberg is a multi-billionaire because it's not for giving away free, showing your ad for free. It's not because of that. You got to pay to play, and the more you pay, the more they're going to play, and it works. I mean, you definitely need to spend some money on this. So if you're not full, you have a good website, a good social media presence, a good Google Ads. That'll pay for itself over and over. Make sure that you have a good referral program in your business. Referral is important. I mean, word of mouth. People say, "Why use word of mouth?" It's like, how many open spots do you have? 20 at my school. It's like if you're only using word of mouth, obviously it's not working as good enough as you want it to. It's you got to all things work some of the time, but some things don't work all of the time. So you got to have a multi-pronged approach when it comes to marketing and do many different areas. And you got to have a good referral program. And we always recommend giving cash. Cash is king. $100 bills. Ooh, when was the last time our employees probably have $100 bills in their pocket, or parents?
Most people
They don't use cash.
They don't use cash.
No.
Direct deposit into their account. They pay all their bills online.
I started this years ago, and I remember teaching on it. But I remember giving this lady two $100 bills for a referral fee. And oh my God, she about fell off her chair. She was so excited. She goes, "Oh my God, whatever you do, don't tell my husband I got this." And I was like, if I were to give her credit on her account, she couldn't hide that from her husband. But that referral fee, that just got her nails done, got her hairs done, got her something special that her
Not
husband
that
might
we're
not have.
advocating hiding things.
No, we're not advocating that at all for the owners, but for a referral fee, it worked like gold. Right. And she gave us a lot of referrals. And think about this, most millennials don't see $100 bills. They have very little cash. So it has more value. If you were to give them a $200 check or a $200 credit, it wouldn't have as much value as two crisp $100 bills, because it seems to have more value to them because they're holding it in their hand and they don't see it very often. So it's worth a lot more than $200 to them, and it's worth gold to you giving this out. Same thing with your employees. I always give employee bonuses as cash too. Accountants don't love it, but there's a way to do it. I teach that in one of our training episodes, how to do it legally. Just look for on our podcast episode. I don't have time to get into it today. Another area of marketing is affiliate relationships or affiliate partnerships with similar businesses, pediatric dentist, children's clothes store. Partner with them. Put your brochure on their counter. Have them put theirs on yours. And pediatric dentists, things like that. Find an area, a pregnancy resource center, pediatrician. Find some places that will promote your business in exchange for you promoting theirs. And the last thing is have good signage. Make sure they can see you from the road. If you have openings, have one of those flag things that say now enrolling. What do those go for on Amazon usually about?
It's like $20 or something. I think you get two for 45. One says childcare and one says now enrolling or something like that.
Yeah, if you've got a school and your school does not have the word childcare in it, and you use the word like
learning center
or
academy,
that could be confusing in some markets as to the fact that you're a childcare center.
Right.
And I know the reason that people have moved away from daycare because they didn't want people to think that they weren't learning there. So I get that. But there is a segment of the population that does not know what a learning center is, because there are some tutoring places that have learning center in their name. Right. So there has been confusion that if you're an early learning center, that you're not a childcare center. So you need to use additional signage to alleviate that confusion. So when they see Little Angels Early Learning Center, they would know that you're a childcare because you have the word childcare somewhere on the side of your building. We were in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, and we drove by a building, and they had a sign that was like that, didn't have the word childcare in the name.
We couldn't read.
We couldn't even read the sign. It was horrible.
It's horrible.
But in big letters on the side of their building, they had childcare and preschool in ginormous 4-foot letters. You could see that a mile away. I said, that is smart marketing there.
Yeah.
Couldn't see their logo on their sign. It was horrible. But boy, I could see childcare and preschool. So you could see that forever away. And that is the key, is to make sure people know that you're a childcare center or a preschool or both. Don't just believe that your logo will do it. And if your logo, you think it's pretty, doesn't mean your parents mean pretty. So we hope you've enjoyed the marketing. So next week, we're going to be talking about systems, and we'll see you then. Well, thank you for tuning in to this episode. Before we go today, we want to remind you that tickets are still on sale. We have not sold out yet for our Childcare Genius Live Conference in Las Vegas, April 14th, 15th, and 16th at the Golden Nugget. That is in downtown Las Vegas. And tickets are on sale right now at childcaregenius.com. And we're excited to have you there. We're going to have over 500 exciting childcare owners and directors. There's 2 different experiences, one for owners in one room and one for directors in a completely different room. And it's the most advanced childcare conference in the world. You excited, Carol?
I am. It's going to be a great conference.
Yeah, we did it last year. We had over 300 last year. We're going to have over 500 this year, and it's going to be amazing. We had secured ticket room prices. We secured $75 room rate plus resort fee and tax, but that's an unheard of to go to a conference, childcare conference. You only have to pay $75 plus resort fee and tax for a room. You can afford to bring your whole team at that price.
Absolutely.
And it's, of course, it's cheap to eat in Las Vegas too.
Yeah.
You know, some of these hotels you go to in, you know, big cities like New York or Chicago, and they're paying $12 for a hamburger and, you know, and $8 for a cup of coffee, because you're stuck there. You can't go anywhere else. And here you got, you know, the Vegas downtown. Things are cheap. Yeah, steak and shake burger. $4.99 for a steak and shake burger and fries. So you can eat cheaply, and or you can eat expensive too. There's some nice restaurants.
Really good steakhouses.
But it's definitely much more affordable than going to most childcare conferences. And Vegas is fun.
It is fun.
And they have a good time. So we hope you'll consider coming to the most advanced childcare conference in the world. Every speaker is in the childcare industry. We don't put celebrities on who can't teach you how to do payroll in a childcare center. They might sell a few books, but we don't do that. We just put people on stage that have done what you wanted to do. And totally different than most childcare conferences. And Carol and I can't wait to meet you, and we'd love to have you there. So go to childcaregenius.com, go under the conference tab, and select Childcare Genius Live, and go ahead and get your tickets today. Book your rooms. This will sell out, and we're excited to say that. So this concludes this episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
We'll see you next week. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Childcare Genius podcast.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.